In this tutorial, we're going to take a look at putting in pictures in what's called a frame. There's a rectangular frame tool on this toolbar right here. And if I click and hold, you can see you can do an ellipse and a polygon as well. So we'll stick for now with rectangular frames. And they're very simple to drag in, much like a text box. You click and drag and place your frame. And then you can do the same thing that you did with a text box by putting a frame around it. And you can choose your border, just like the other ones. You can put on the drop shadow, special effects, like you did in the previous tutorial. So for example, if I wanted to put an inner glow in, I could check that and do my settings here. Then once you have that formatted, what you do is you go File and Place. So instead of opening a picture or copying and pasting or dragging it in, what you can do, the best way to do it is to go File, Place. So I'll go File, Place. Takes a moment there. And I'm just going to use one of my sample pictures here. So for example, if I'm doing a undersea page, I'll choose the jellyfish picture that I want. I'll double click on it, and what it'll do is it'll put it inside the frame. Now you'll notice that of course the picture is not completely there. So I don't go to my black arrow and resize it. Well, I could do that. I could resize it, but if I want to put 4 pictures on this page, then I need to change the size of the picture. So changing the size of the frame will reveal or hide part of the picture depending on what it is you want to do. That is called the selection tool. This tool here will select just the picture, so it'll ignore the frame, and it will give you this brown bounding box. See, it goes fairly far down, and that will allow me to resize and reposition the picture. Now I could grab this arrow here, but what will happen is it will end up distorting the picture. So I want to be careful. I don't want to do it that way. And luckily there are some tools up here that will allow me to resize it proportionally. So the width and height will always stay in the same proportion, so it won't distort the picture. So I can drag the picture around as long as I stay inside the frame and keep that picture in there. I can position it wherever I want. Then what I can do is go up to my tool options bar, and you can see I can change the width and height here, and I can change the position here as well, but it's just really easy to drag it around with your mouse. And then I can go to this tool here and I can change the size. Now there's a button here that is called a link, and if I click on it, I unselect it. If I click on it again, I reselect it. So it's kind of the linking the width and height together, so when I change one of them, I change both of them. So I'm just going to click on this menu here and go down to 50%, and that resizes my picture, both length and width exactly the same. So now that picture fits in there a little bit better. Now I want to be careful to have the brown bounding box at least on the edge of the picture frame, but for certain around it. So now I can go up here and I can change the percentage 1% at a time by clicking on these arrows and resizing it. And you can see it kind of draws it up to the left corner here. So when I go down, you can see this corner stays stationary and these 3 corners will adjust. So it's a little too small. It doesn't fit perfectly in the frame, but that's pretty good. And I have the basic picture of the jellyfish. I'm just going to be missing some of the water. So I can place it wherever I want to, directly in the center. If I want to go down lower, I can do that, but I can fit the whole basic picture in there fairly easily. And that's essentially how to put a picture in, and I can put a border around it, of course, like I did. If the border blends in a little bit too much, I can change it to a different color, of course. You can do whatever you want. And that might make the frame stand out a little bit from the picture because it was kind of blending together. And again, I can resize it to fit inside the guidelines if I want to, and make sure that it's lined up nicely with the rest of my document there. And there you have a picture frame.